What's up, everybody? Welcome back to My Golf Spy. Today, it's one of the biggest days of the year around here. It's 2024 Most Wanted Driver results. And you're gonna wanna pay attention. Every golfer on the planet is gonna wanna try this Ping driver because this thing blew our minds. So if you're in the market to purchase a new driver, take notes, stick around, because this is the most comprehensive driver test in the world, period. Let's get it. We've broken this video down into 3 simple sections. 1, how we test. You guys wanna know how we test? We're gonna show you exactly behind the scenes how we do it. 2, we're gonna tell you the scoring system and how we score and what the final results are, which help you determine which drivers you should be demoing this year. And 3rd, hitting basics. So when you actually go to the store to try one of these drivers, it gives you a guide on what is best for you and how you should go about doing it. During today's video, our results will be sprinkled throughout the whole thing. So make sure you watch the whole video because you're gonna get the longest, most forgiving, you're gonna get the best value and best overall, and even more. Before you drop some serious cash on one of these new drivers, we wanna make sure you find the right driver for you. All right, speaking of money, the cost on these drivers is getting absurd. In 2024, you can fully expect to pay on average of about $600 for a brand new driver. And if money is your biggest sticking point, here are a couple of recommendations that you should take a look at. The first driver that you might want to consider for the best value is the PXG 0311 XF Gen 6. It comes in at $449, and it's also the best for forgiveness in 2024, but more on that later. All right, next up is the best value of 2024, and it comes from Costco. It's called the Kirkland Signature Driver. What other place can you buy the best value driver and a rotisserie chicken and even a car battery at the same time? Nowhere. This driver even beat out some of the biggest names in golf. At $199, I think everybody should just try it for fun. The Kirkland Signature Driver, best value 2024. Enough about money. Now, let's get to actually how we test. Testing drivers the right way is hard. It takes a lot of time and a lot of cutting-edge technology to find the right driver for you. Take this year's driver test. It was a whopping 420 hours. That's nearly 18 straight 24-hour days of testing, or watching Oppenheimer 140 times back to back. Whew. This is not like your typical YouTube golf driver test. That's what we're trying to go against, actually. One person hitting 5 to 10 shots telling you what driver you should play doesn't work. You should either hit 10 or 10,000 shots. If you want to do the 10-shot test, great. But to have statistical significance, you actually have to hit about 10,000 shots in a driver test, which is why it takes so long. Here's some of the things that we've actually had to implement into our driver test to make sure it gets the right data for you. 1, you have to do likeness versus likeness, or grouping. You can't have a heavy driver and a light driver tested back to back. One might positively or negatively influence one of those drivers. So to be fair, you actually have to do groupings. Low spin drivers get tested equally at the same time, same with drivers that have similar CGs. Now, let's cover robots. No, we do not test with robots. We wish we could, that would be the easiest way, but it's not the right way. We actually asked and consulted with every OEM manufacturer prior to starting Most Wanted driver testing. Every one of them agrees player testing is the right way. You just have to have a lot of players and a lot of shots to get the right data. And that's exactly what we do. So why do we test indoor versus outdoor? We get that question a lot. The variable reduction system. Basically, that means we want to reduce the amount of variables in the test to make sure we have the good set of data. So some of those things that you might think about is the actual dew point and humidity. It changes from every shot to shot outside. We want the same temperature. We want the same grass height. We want the same tee height. We want the same everything. We want to reduce variables. That's why we use the Foresight GC Quad. It's the best and most accurate system for data collection indoors. It's also why we use the Pro V1 golf ball from Titleist, because after years of testing, it has the best quality control in the game, period. All right, so now on to the 2024 Most Wanted driver tests. We tested 37 different models, and we also included last year's winner, the TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus. Why? Because you want to know, is newer really better? And we want to find that out for you. We also test other 2023 models in this year's test. The reason why is because some older models are still available at retail, and ultimately, we just want to find out what driver that's available right now is best for you. All right, when it comes to actual equipment testing, we had 35 testers that covered almost every skill level from 0 to 15 handicap. We also had swing speeds from slow to mid and high to make sure all of you are covered in the 2024 MyGolfSpy Most Wanted Driver Test. All right, now that we've talked about how we test, let's get into the actual scoring system itself. We have a totally new and improved scoring system this year that's going to provide more accurate data so that you can find the right driver for you. Our ultimate goal is to provide you valuable insights with this MGS score, a comprehensive 10-point scoring system. It is broken down into 3 crucial categories: distance, accuracy, and forgiveness. So let's talk distance. For our distance score, we factor both in carry and total yards. Most golfers don't actually think that there's much distance difference between one driver and another. That myth is busted year after year, and it happened again this year. So let's take the winner of the longest driver for 2024. The Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Max D was 15 yards longer than the Crank Formula Fire Pro, which finished dead last this year for the shortest driver of 2024. All right, rounding out the top 5 longest drivers for 2024 is the Callaway AI Smoke Triple Diamond, the Srixon ZX7 Mark II, the Ping G430 LST, and the Titleist TSR3. Let's face it, when it comes to accuracy, that can be a game changer. It can be the difference between a par or a quadruple bogey. But every shot is not created equal. Your drive might be dead center in the fairway, but that might actually be the same as 2 yards off the middle of the fairway, still in the fairway. Then you might be in light rough or heavy rough. We consider all that. It is something that we created here to make the final results for you much more accurate than any other test in golf. So our official testing fairway sits at 35 yards, but it's a widening fairway, meaning the longer you hit it, the wider that fairway gets, because we don't want to reward short shots as being the most accurate. But it allows us to compare longer hitters versus shorter hitters and doesn't overemphasize accuracy for the guy that's hitting it short. Playable shot percentage represents the percentage of shots that, while maybe not perfect, still will not penalize you overall. So let's take the straight shot percentage and the playable shot percentage into account. And when we do, the 2024 most accurate driver might be the biggest no-brainer we've ever seen in over 10 years of testing at MyGolfSpy. This thing is a literal cheat code for anybody that is struggling with accuracy. And the driver that won this year is the Ping G430 Max 10K. Almost 10% more accurate than the runner-up, and way more accurate than almost every other driver in the test. The runner-up for this year, if you're looking for another option, is the Tour Edge Exotics E723. All right, here's an interesting note. Ping's been making accurate drivers for a long time, but Ping and Tour Edge both finished in the top 5 for accuracy in 2023. But once again, Ping is the only driver manufacturer that actually had a top 5 driver for most accurate in 2024 and 2023. So if you're struggling with your accuracy, you should probably run, not walk, to try this driver. We've never seen anything like it before. Did you know that almost every driver performs identically when you hit it dead center on the face? But the best drivers in the world are the ones that perform best across the entire face. High, low, heel, toe. And drivers are getting better and better at that. And that's where forgiveness comes in. That's where we take the consistency of ball speed and all the delta stuff we're talking about. It's not who performs best on perfectly struck shots, it's who performs best on all the shots. All right, let's take the 3 metrics that we talked about for forgiveness. When we do that, we come up with the winners for the most forgiving driver of 2024. And surprisingly, PXG takes not only the top spot, but both the first and second spot, with the PXG 0311 Gen 6 SF and the standard PXG 0311 Gen 6. Get ready to hit that pause button, because we're getting ready to put up the top 5 most forgiving drivers of 2024. Now that we've covered testing and scoring, now let's get to the nitty-gritty, the hitting bay basics, meaning when you go get fit for your driver, what should you actually be considering? First up is shaft length. It makes a huge difference. The average shaft length we tested this year was between 45 and 45.75 inches. And sometimes people actually perform better with a shorter driver. The reason? Strike is king. And if you can strike the ball more accurately on the center of the face with a shorter shaft, that's better for you. Ideally, you want to find the shaft length that helps you become king of strike. Let's cover the next important factor, and that's adjustable loft. If you only have one option, your paper airplane only has one option, meaning you can only throw it at one trajectory. But if you buy a new driver, sometimes things change, but you want to get the ideal launch angle and spin. And you need to be able to have adjustable loft angles to cater to that as you adjust over the years with your driver. This isn't something you're necessarily going to have to worry that much about with brand new drivers. 36 out of the 37 drivers we tested had the adjustable loft option. Interestingly enough, one of the most expensive drivers, the Xexio, is the only driver that doesn't offer it. Next up is adjustable weights. Once again, similar to loft options. If you have a big hook, you want to be able to correct that hook with your driver, not have to buy a new driver. Same thing with a slice. Same thing with launch too high, launch too low. So if you think about it, adjustability in weights allows you to correct for some of your inefficiencies in your own patterns. So if your swing changes a little bit tomorrow, you can adjust for that. You don't have to buy a new driver. Next up are looks. And good looks do not equal good performance. For almost 10 years, we've been collecting data on both how well a driver looks versus how it performs. And there's no correlation. So just because a driver might be ugly, if it performs best for you, we say pick the ugly duckling. All right, we have teased you long enough. We have tested long enough. Now, before we show you the rankings of 1st through 37th, we want to tell you who actually won the 2024 MyGolfSpy Most Wanted Driver Test. This year, we teased you in the beginning of the video with this head cover. Now we're getting ready to pull it off. It's the Ping G430 Max 10K. It's the driver we call the cheat code. It's the most accurate driver we tested. It's probably the best driver overall for distance, forgiveness, and accuracy that we've ever tested. This is a run, don't walk to go hit this thing, because every single tester here and almost every employee was blown away by the performance this year of this Ping driver. Give it a try. You let us know what you think. You will not be disappointed. So now let's wrap everything up. We have given you results for distance, accuracy, forgiveness, and we've even given you some considerations for best value. But we haven't shown you the overall rankings. So get ready to pause the video because we're getting ready to show you the top to bottom, where every single driver ranked in 2024 from first place all the way down to last at 37. Want more detail? Want more data? There's plenty of it. Check it out on mygolfspy.com for the best drivers of 2024. We out.